Now, this is the example of hyperbola graph, right? This is the basic example of hyperbola graph. So if you understand everything that I'll be doing here, you will be at the safe side. If you understand whatever that I'll be doing here, you will be at the safe side. Whether you're doing grade 11, whether you're doing grade 12, this is the only hyperbola graph that you should know. Right now, 1.1, write down the equation of the asymptote of f, right? So write down the equations of the asymptote of f. So what did a divided by x plus or minus p plus q. This is actually the standard form of hyperbola, right? So now, if I were to be given this, and then I am told to find the asymptote, right? So that means I'm going to find x and y asymptote, right? So now, how do I find x asymptote and how do I find y asymptote, right? So now, x asymptote, we focus on the denominator, right? That's where we find x asymptote. So we're going to say x plus p is equals to 0. Then x is equals to minus p, right? So this is our asymptote, focusing on this equation. So now, let's now go to find y asymptote. Y asymptote is straightforward. We just pick and pay, right? So y asymptote is q, x asymptote is negative p, right? So already, by me doing this, you have already got your y and x asymptote here. You have already found your y and x asymptote here, because now here x asymptote, it will be x minus 2 is equals to 0, then x is equals to 2, right? So this is your x asymptote. Y asymptote is 1, then you are done, right? So I was supposed to find a place whereby I can just write it 1.1, x is equals to 2, y is equals to 1, right? So this is your actually first answer. Now 1.2 determine the coordinates of B, the x-intercept of F. We don't know where B is, so that is why now they have to be specific, or what is it that they are looking for. Now they want x-intercept. Now if they are looking for x-intercept, you all know that when we are looking for x, we let y to be 0, and then in our case, f of x, you must always know f of x, h of x, g of x, k of x, j of x, they are all y, right? So f of x is equals to y, right? So now y is equals to 0, because we are now looking for x-intercept. And how do we look for x-intercept? We solve for x. That's the only way to solve to find x-intercept, right? So now 0 is equals to 3 over x minus 2 plus 1, right? We just have to place 0 here because we're looking for x, right? Now negative 1 is equals to 3 over x minus 2, right? So now we have to do cross multiplication. So that will be this multiplied by this multiplied by this. Here there is an invisible 1. Now 3 is equals to negative 1. Negative 1 multiplied by actually everything that is here. Then 3 is equals to negative x. Negative 1 multiplied by negative 2 is positive. Then 3 minus 2 is equals to negative x, right? So these two went this side, then we took 2 this side, then it has to change the sign. Then 3 minus 2 is 1, then negative x. We are not looking for negative x, we are looking for x. Then we have to divide by negative 1. So that will be x is equals to negative 1. So that is our x, and that is our x-intercept. Let's go back to the question. We must always rehearse, we must always reread the question. The question was like, determine the coordinate of B. The coordinate form, it's written like this. This is the coordinate form. So we only found x-intercept. We didn't write it in a coordinate form. We don't deserve to get a full mark. So now we have to say B negative 1 0, right? b negative 1 0. We always have to do like that. So now here it's b, it's b negative 1 and 0, right? So we have answered that question. We have answered that question. This is how you should solve it. If we can just go back to it, this is how you should solve it. Now 1.3 determine the coordinates of D, the y-intercept of F, right? Okay, now they're looking for what? They're looking for y-intercept. They're looking for y-intercept. So how do we find y-intercept? How do we find y-intercept? We let x to be 0. We let x to be 0. Then we solve for y. Then in our equation, we have f of x is equals to, f of x is actually equals to 3x minus 2 plus 1, right? So we have to put a 0 wherever we see x, because we did the same favor to x. When we're looking for x, we did it a favor by saying f of x is equals to 0, right? So now f of 0, because now x is starting to be 0, then 0 minus 2 plus 1, and then 3 over minus 2 plus 1, and then our y will be 3 over negative 2 plus 1. It will be 3 over negative 2 plus 1, which is 3 over negative 2 plus 1. That is negative 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 2. Right. Now, since we have found our y, we need to go back to the question and reread it, rehearse it, to know if we have answered it correctly. Now, let us look at the answer. The answer is y, but then they are looking for coordinates. How do we find coordinates? We write coordinates like this. So that means it will be 0, negative 1 over 2, because it's y. So it's x and y, x and y. So x and y means y is always on the right hand side and x left hand side, like this and like this. So that is 1.3. 1.3 d, it's 0, negative 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 2. Right. So now determine the domain and the range of f. Right? The domain and the range of x. Now the domain has something to do with x, and range has something to do with y. We all know that. So now we have to say 1.4. Find the space. 1.4. It's the domain and the range. So domain, just write d. Domain, it's x is the element of any real number, but x is not equals to 2. Right? 2 is that one of horizontal. Is that one of horizontal asymptote. 2 that we're talking about is this, which we found it to be 2 on the horizontal. So that is why domain has something to do with x. Now range, y is the element of any real number, but this comma in maths is but y is not equals to 1. This one is very simple. Y. This is the y we're talking about. Now, determine the decreasing and increasing functions of the axis of symmetry of f. Right? So now, if we're talking about decreasing and increasing, we only have to find the axis of symmetry. We only have to find the axis of symmetry. Now, the first one, increasing, we have to answer them nicely. It's 1.5. 1.5. Increasing. You have to say y is what on the asymptote. Y asymptote is 1. X asymptote is 2. So we have to say 1 is equals to 2 plus c. Then 1 minus 2 is equals to c. Then c is equals to minus 1. C is equals to minus 1. then therefore the equation is written like this: x minus 1. So this is your increasing axis of symmetry. Then what about the decreasing axis of symmetry? On the decreasing axis of symmetry, x should be negative, right? So now y is equals to x plus c, then y is 1, x is negative 2 plus c, then y plus 2 is equals to c, then 3 is equals to c, then the equation should be y is equals to x plus 3. X plus 3. Right. So let us now go to 1.6. Draw a sketch of f. Draw a sketch of f. Let us find the space. Now this is the Cartesian plane. First thing first, we need to plot the graph. We need to plot it, right? So let us now go to the first equation. Okay, our x is what? Is negative 1. So we have to now come and plot x is negative 1, the left hand side. Now we have to find our y. What is our y? Our y is negative 1 over 2. Our y is negative y over 2, right? So what is it that we need to do? We need to find axis of symmetry, asymptotes. We need to see our asymptotes. It's 2 and 1. It's 2 and 1. That is 2 here and 1 here, right? Now we have to now plot them. We have to plot them. Let me find something different. This one. We have to plot them. This is our y asymptote. This is our x asymptote, right? Now we have to draw the graph. We have to draw the graph. The graph should not cut. No. The graph should not cut or just try to intercept with the asymptote. Should be like this. Should not intercept with the asymptote. This is wrong. Should not intercept with the asymptote at all. Now this is how it should be. Then this is how it should be. Then we can at least add asymptote, the asymptotes, axis of symmetry. We can just do here, and then here it can be the decreasing one, there it could be the increasing one. This is how the graph should look, and this is how we can easily solve the equation, the equation of parabola. As simple as that. As simple as that.